Coming up on Cronkite News, the Coyotes will play for the first time in Tempe tonight and are prepared for business on the ice and a party in the stands.
And ASU football takes on Colorado this weekend, and we've got an inside look at one receiver's journey to the team.
Plus, the sale of e-cigarettes could soon be illegal in one Arizona city.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Lindsay Selzer.
And I'm Edison LaCour. Thank you for joining us. After spending 19 years in Glendale, tonight marks the new start of a new era for the Arizona Coyotes, who scheduled to play their first game in ASU's 5,000-seat Mullett Arena. Cronkite News reporter Adam Schwager is in Tempe in anticipation for tonight's matchup against the Jets.
After starting their first 6 games on the road, the Coyotes will christen their temporary home tonight here at 7:30. Initially built with just Division I college hockey in mind, this barn is 12,000 seats smaller than the Coyotes' previous home in Glendale. But with those attendance issues they had in Glendale, some are looking forward to the change.
You know, to kind of have that home atmosphere. I mean, haven't had that here for a little bit in a couple of years. So just to kind of have that atmosphere, you know, after a fight, after a goal, after a big shift, you know, a block shot, you know, that's you play in other buildings, you hear it right away, and you know, it's tough to play against you know, teams that have that type of crowd.
The Coyotes first took to the Mullett Arena ice for practice yesterday as they tried to adjust to the new arena and their temporary locker rooms, as they are not allowed to use ASU's and their own will not be ready until they return home in December. The team also hosted a morning skate here today, attempting to do everything they can to feel comfortable with their home ice and its unique corners heading into this 4-game homestand.
Corner or not square there, so the puck will rim really fast, the board will be fast, the game will be extremely fast. With the NHL team out there, that will be fast.
Earlier today, the team announced that all fans in attendance will receive a jersey and their very own mullet wig. The team hopes that the promotions can help rock the mullet tonight in Tempe. Adam Schwager, Cronkite News.
Adam Schwager rocking that mullet. Thanks for the report. Now, after the Coyotes play the Jets tonight, they will host the New York Rangers at home on Sunday.
For the first time in program history, the ASU men's hockey team will face off against the renowned North Dakota Fighting Hawks in Las Vegas this weekend. This isn't the Sun Devils' first trip to Sin City. In 2018, the team won their first tournament championship at the Ice Vegas Invite. Now, ASU hopes to keep their good luck alive against the Fighting Hawks in a nearly sold-out T-Mobile Arena. Coach Greg Powers is optimistic about his players' recent ability to handle the pressure of a raucous rink.
Managing emotions in front of 5,000 of our own fans in a raucous atmosphere has been challenging for the guys from time to time, right, over the course of the last 4 games. So I think it's good. You know, it was a heated atmosphere in here, 4 games in a row. It's going to be one at T-Mobile on Saturday, and I think the message is really just you have nothing not to empty your tanks for. It's one game.
Puck drops in Las Vegas tomorrow night at 7 p.m.
ASU football travels to Colorado tomorrow, trying to get back into the win column. And while head coach Sean Aguano has yet to announce a starting quarterback, one target for the Sun Devils is receiver Cameron Johnson. Johnson transferred to Tempe this year from Vanderbilt, and as Cronkite News reporter Marley Zanna Thompson tells us, Johnson's strong relationship with his mom has been his guiding force.
Wide receiver Cameron Johnson was welcomed to ASU this season to finish out his college football journey. Along the way, it has been his mother who has encouraged him to follow his dreams.
Anytime I'm going through a hard time or things aren't going the way that I want them to go, it's always in the back of my mind, like, she's done all this for you throughout your entire life so you could be at this moment. Like, keep going. Things are going to get better. You got to put in more work to make it better.
Cam was just 5 years old when his father passed away. That is when his mom, Ashley, rose to the challenge of raising Cameron as a single mother.
Just trying to fill that role as the mom and the dad was, kind of difficult at times because I felt like I needed to be, more hard on Cam because I didn't want him to be too soft, I guess you could say. Just trying to make sure that he knew how to be a man, and that's kind of hard from a woman's position.
Cameron's mom has been the driving force behind the game he loves. The bond between the two is unbreakable, but it wasn't always easy for him to watch her struggle to give him a good life.
We were sitting outside of the place where she was going to get her loan from. It had been some kind of issues, so she wasn't getting the loan for a while, and so she wasn't able to pay for the house. And I remember waking up to her crying, and just sort of, that was something that always resonated with me, just because I realized how much she was really going through, just for me to be happy and for me to be able to succeed in sports and in life.
Ashley is very proud of the strong man Cam has grown into, and she will always be the rock he can lean on.
I'm glad that we're as close as we are. I mean, he's my best friend too. I just want him to accomplish all his dreams, everything that he wants, and just live life to the fullest.
In Tempe, Marley Zanna Thompson, Cronkite News.
Johnson says he dreams of playing in the NFL so he can help his mom retire and thank her for all of her sacrifice.
Internet star Jake Paul and UFC fighter Anderson Silva held their final press conference before their marquee fight this weekend. Earlier this week, there was worry Silva wouldn't be able to fight after suffering some knockouts in practice. However, it seems the event is going ahead as planned, and the two announced a compelling bet for Saturday night.
If you win, I will fight you in an MMA fight.
They don't fight MMA anymore. You're so smart.
Kickboxing.
I got you.
Kickboxing.
Okay. Kickboxing, all right.
Kickboxing.
Kickboxing.
But if I win, me and you come together to create a United Fighters Association to help UFC fighters get better pay and better health care. You become the interim president, and we unite to help these fighters once and for all.
Deal.
The two will enter the ring tomorrow at Desert Diamond Arena at 3 p.m.
At Gilbert High School, a special group is celebrating their senior season. This final season caps off years of hard work on the field together. Cronkite News reporter Ryan Blank looks at the bond between these players.
For the Gilbert Tigers, a group of seniors are playing their final games together. However, Friday Night Lights are just an extension of a bond that goes back 12 years.
They were young kids that really loved the game of football, and they wanted to learn and play, and they had a lot of really good success with them on the field, but also taught them a lot about working together as teammates, being part of a community, something bigger than themselves, and overcoming adversities.
Football is a very special sport, and you have to have each other's back, and having each other's back and being on the field for so long and just having the bond for that long is just it's unbreakable.
As the years went on, the group expanded to include Jacob Barnes and a former opponent, Noah Narain.
At first it was okay, it's competition, normal, other team, and then next I see them in the football portable. I'm okay, I've seen these guys, I know how they play, we'll probably work well together. We just keep getting closer every year. Every season, you have them in classes, you see them every day. Just the bond keeps getting closer.
Just a lot of teamwork, accountability, and just us just sticking through with each other this whole time, through everything, all of our ups and downs. It's just been a journey.
When it came to playing high school football, the choice was simple.
At the end of the youth football run, when they were going into high school, the boys all wanted to come and play together, which I thought was very cool.
When I was here at Gilbert High, they just decided, you know what? They'd love to come here and keep the band together.
I wanted to continue football, and I wanted to continue with my friends, and so we all decided to come here. We were playing for a long time, and we thought that maybe we could make a difference here.
I definitely thought about other schools, and I definitely got some convincing from Coach Z and Cooper. It's been a good choice that I came here. I'm glad I came here.
Despite this season being their last as a group, the experience of being on the football field together has created an everlasting bond.
They mean everything to me, they're family to me, I would die for them. We've been together and everything for so long. It's an unbreakable bond.
It's a special group of people. It's like a brotherhood now. I mean, it's basically, I would do anything for them. I'm for sure they would do anything for me. I'm willing to risk everything for them, especially out in the field. So they're like brothers to me.
As the Tigers season is hitting the home stretch, this group of six are cherishing their last moments on the field together. In Gilbert, Ryan Blank, Cronkite News.
This group of seniors has led the team to a 7-2 record, good for second place in their 5A section.
I'm Diana Quintero. Coming up after the break, I'll have your top news stories. An ordinance that could ban the sale of flavored e-cigarettes in one Valley city. Plus, those Halloween costumes aren't the only thing that's scary. Find out how those spooky spiking prices are affecting Halloween shopping this year.
Different about you, a new brightness in your eyes.
Welcome to the Hotel Portofino.
How utterly charming.
Something is coming, can you feel it now?
My dreams have been invigorated.
We like stories that are going to elevate us.
Feel it now.
What is your sense now of the situation?
Something is coming.
They gave us possibilities.
This is the opportunity to share my recipes.
Everywhere you look.
You're going deep into the heart of America.
The Holocaust is a story that Americans have to reckon with, too.
This is pure exploration.
Wow.
I want to spend the rest of my life with you.
Welcome back to Cronkite News. I'm Diana Quintero. Earlier today, an Arizona judge decided not to ban a group from monitoring ballot drop-off boxes in Maricopa County. This comes after a number of people complained of voter intimidation when they dropped off ballots, including armed individuals who were seen at a drop box in Mesa. After the Secretary of State's office referred 6 complaints of voter intimidation to law enforcement, 2 separate lawsuits were filed to stop the election watchers. But a federal judge ruled today that groups could continue monitoring the ballot boxes, saying they were exercising their constitutional rights. The city of Tempe is considering an ordinance that would ban outright the sale of flavored e-cigarettes. The aim is to reduce rates of teen vaping. Research shows over 2.5 million high school and middle school students use e-cigarettes, mostly flavored products. Cronkite News reporter Geraldine Torellis attended a meeting this week to hear what residents think about the ban.
Parents, health experts, and business owners were among those who gathered to voice their opinions about the proposal. Those who favor the ban note that flavored e-cigarettes are more appealing to young people and say the ordinance could help curb teen vaping. Some speakers stress that menthol-flavored products in particular have long been targeted to communities of color, whether as an additive to cigarettes or vape pens.
One of the reasons I support it is because as a kid, I tried to experiment with tobacco. I tried menthol tobacco because that's what was advertised to our community. It was advertised through organizations that were in our community.
Many people rely on flavored e-cigarettes to quit smoking because research shows they are less harmful. But health experts stress they still contain potentially harmful substances. Those against the ordinance argued it will force adults to drive to other cities to get the products they want, or could even increase cigarette use.
But this law will only affect local businesses like mine that sell tobacco products. If this law passes, it will help cigarette manufacturers. It'll boost their sales because you'll take away the options.
In Tempe, Geraldine Torellis, Cronkite News.
Tempe residents may weigh in via an online survey that closes Sunday. Then the city council will hold a formal vote. Arizona will not enforce a near total abortion ban this year. Arizona Attorney General Mark Brnovich has agreed not to enforce the pre-statehood abortion law until 2023. The current law allows for abortions up to 15 weeks of pregnancy, but confusion over which law was being enforced had shut down most abortion providers in the state. After Brnovich's announcement, Planned Parenthood said they would resume abortion care across the entire state. Election Day is less than 2 weeks away, and tribal leaders are encouraging Native American voters to cast their ballots. The Intertribal Association of Arizona hosted a press conference where several tribal leaders spoke directly to their people about voting. Many talked about how their ancestors fought for the right to vote and how issues like water, voting rights, and economic development are all on the ballot. Another message: voters should educate themselves not only on candidates and propositions, but on the process of voting.
We all have to do our part to understand what the issues are and understand how important it is to our tribal sovereignty to keep our communities together.
One vote can change the course of history, and let that vote be yours.
Leaders say it's crucial that the younger generation of voters get educated and show up to the polls. New national test results confirm that what educators and parents have long suspected. The pandemic hurt kids' education. Math and English scores fell sharply for 4th and 8th graders nationwide. And as Cronkite News reporter John Brown tells us from our Washington bureau, Arizona was no different.
The National Assessment of Educational Progress, often called the nation's report card, showed scores dropping in almost every category. Math results saw their biggest drop since the test began in 1990.
This is not a wake-up call for us to double down our efforts and improve education. Even before before the pandemic, then I don't know what will.
Beth Lewis, director of Save Our Schools Arizona, calls the findings disheartening. She says her students struggled to learn during the pandemic.
Kids aren't islands. They don't just exist at school to learn. And a lot of students of mine suffered immeasurable tragedy and trauma during the pandemic.
Arizona was already below the national average on test scores in 2019, the last year the test was given. Its standing did not improve this year. Average math scores for Arizona 4th graders fell by 6 points, while reading only dropped by 1. 8th grade math scores dropped 9 points, while reading ended up staying the same. Chris Cotterman with the Arizona School Boards Association says math scores saw a sharper decline because some Arizona school districts are facing a math teacher shortage on top of a general teacher shortage.
It's always a challenge to find math teachers, and you need good math teachers because especially since 4th and 8th grade are chosen because they're sort of gateways to success.
Lewis agrees that Arizona's teacher shortage and teacher-to-student ratio has contributed to the decline.
And we also had a lot of schools that were operating under a skeleton crew, where you had teachers covering 2 classrooms at a time, specialist teachers not even getting to teach their subject. It was really a chaotic 2 years.
Although Lewis is not happy with the test results, she says she's optimistic that test scores will rebound in the next year. In Washington, John Brown, Cronkite News.
While Arizona finished below national averages, it wasn't the worst, typically finishing in the 30s. The best school system, the Defense Department schools, which consistently finished in first place for the 2022 test scores. It's the last weekend to pick up those Halloween treats, decorations, and costumes. But as Haley Smilo tells us from our Washington bureau, you may have to dig a little deeper to pay for those holiday essentials.
The only thing scarier than these guys,
Coming to get you! Look at my baby!
maybe the rising prices for candy, costumes, and pumpkins this Halloween.
Our prices and our inputs have gone up astronomically.
And it's not just Mortimer Farms in Dewey. At Apple Annie's Orchard in Wilcox, manager and director of fund Mandy Kirkendall said they've had to raise prices, but not in every area.
We have not raised our pumpkin prices this year. We have had to raise some other prices.
The U.S. Department of Agriculture said that as of mid-October, pumpkin prices in the Southwest were almost 13% higher than the same time last year. Just one of the Halloween staples seeing higher prices. Staples like costumes, says Angela Ott, the owner of Fun Costumes in Mesa.
We're not talking nickel and dime. We're talking, sometimes for costumes anywhere from about $8 to $10, which really is my markup from my customers.
For a small family-run shop like Ott's, inflation is no small factor. But she says customers are not complaining. At the Candy Addict in Tempe, the 2-person shop is also seeing higher costs, up 13% according to the most recent Bureau of Labor Statistics report.
We pay more for candy. We have to sell for more to continue at the same profit margin.
Despite rising costs, the National Retail Federation predicts that U.S. consumers could spend a record $10.6 billion in Halloween spending this year.
It looks like this is going to be the best Halloween ever. So part of that increase in spending, of course, is related to inflation, but even so, more and more people are going to be participating in Halloween, buying candy, buying costumes.
And McFeeters is right. People are participating in the holiday. According to the Retail Federation's polls, 69% of Americans plan to celebrate this year. In Washington, Haley Smilo, Cronkite News.
What isn't so scary this year are weather on Halloween night. Peyton Major is in the Cronkite News Weather Center to tell us what we can expect for trick-or-treating.
Thanks, Diana. Happy Halloween weekend, everyone. It's been chilly outside. I know I've had to wear my sweater this week. The Climate Prediction Center predicts that this is actually going to stick around. You can see we're trending below average the first week of November in terms of temperature. And in terms of rain, we actually are going to be above average that first week of November. But you wouldn't see that outside right now. We're in the 20s and the teens in terms of dew points, which means it's really dry. You might want to apply some lotion tonight for sure. Tomorrow, it's going to be a beautiful day. 61 degrees at 8 a.m. Beautiful day also to get outside, enjoy a hike. We'll reach 80 degrees as our high tomorrow. But Halloween is Monday. Our hottest Halloween on record is 96 degrees back in the 1980s. Our coldest Halloween was 59 degrees in the 70s, and our record rainfall was over an inch in the 1950s. But that's not the story for Monday. You could see our high is 82 degrees around 6 p.m. when your kids are trick-or-treating. You could see it'll be around 77. They might want to bundle up, and overnight we'll reach 58 degrees. So we're trending below normal. You could see this weekend will be in the low 80s. Next week, we're really going to notice that temperature change. Wednesday, we'll have rain chances once again. Thursday, we're down into the 60s, and same with Friday and next weekend. In the Cronkite Weather Center, I'm Peyton Major.
That's it for today's top news stories. Back to you, Edison.
Thanks, Diana. When we come back, former NFL player Shawn Phillips was among several local celebrities to get behind the wheel at Phoenix Raceway. The NASCAR racing experience, next.
Different about you, a new brightness in your eyes.
Welcome to the Hotel Portofino. How utterly charming.
Something is coming, can you feel it now?
My dreams have been invigorated.
We like stories that are going to elevate us.
Feel it now.
What is your sense now of the situation?
Something is coming.
They gave us possibilities.
This is the opportunity to share my recipes.
Everywhere you look.
You're going deep into the heart of America.
The Holocaust is a story that Americans have to reckon with, too.
This is pure exploration.
Wow!
I want to spend the rest of my life with you.
NASCAR is gearing up for championship weekend at Phoenix Raceway on November 6th. But before drivers get set to chase after a title, NASCAR let a few thrill seekers get behind the wheel, including Cronkite News reporter Jacob Flores. Here's his account of the NASCAR race experience.
Fasten your seatbelts and check your mirrors, because NASCAR is coming into town in a couple weeks. A small group of celebrities, influencers, and media had the chance to be NASCAR drivers for a day. After a 25-minute instructional video and a quick recap on the track, everyone got ready for the ride of a lifetime. President of Phoenix Raceway, Julie Giese, spoke about the reason behind holding an event like this.
What a better way to kind of kick off that final 2-week push into the race than let people come out and take their own spin around Phoenix Raceway behind the wheel of a race car. So it just really gives, I think, a lot of perspective and also just have a little bit of fun as we lead into championship weekend.
Not only did I have a bunch of fun out here, but so did former Arizona Cardinal and Pro Bowler Shawn Phillips, as well as former Bellator featherweight champion AJ McKee.
The experience was great. I should have drove faster, but it's okay. I mean, I wasn't being a big risk taker. I guess I should have been a risk taker, but I wasn't. But I had a blast, though. I'd do it again for sure.
It's like getting your feet wet and you like rain. I'm gonna go splash in all the puddles. It was phenomenal, man. Great experience. I loved it. Obviously, like any other car enthusiast and adrenaline junkie, you want more and more and more and more.
Football and MMA are two highly physical sports with dire consequences. But compared to their respective sports, Both Phillips and McKee agreed that driving a race car revved up their heart rate in a similar fashion.
The crazy part is I would say I was a bit more nervous for this than my own fights. Just because like I've just grown up in the fight world and fighting my whole life. So like this, you know, I'm like, I want to learn and I don't want to mess up. So it's like I got a bit nervous.
It was a similar feeling to game day where you just kind of get that rush, you know, like you're just out there. So it is that same type of adrenaline.
Experiencing what it's like to ride in a stock car for the first time is an unforgettable experience. One that brings joy and a chance to see what it's like to be in a NASCAR driver's seat.
For me personally, it's just fun to see those smiles, see the excitement, and just really help people understand what we do here at Phoenix Raceway and what our drivers go through when they're on the race, running for a championship.
In Avondale, Jacob Flores, Cronkite News.
If you can believe it, Jacob tells us NASCAR let them drive up to 115 miles per hour. He topped out at a nerve-wracking 105.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us. For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.